God has plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future too. So let me remind you of what you have the power to do.
You've been on a journey, trying to find your way. Like the sun, you're rising, 'cause today's your day to unlock every gift inside. Let your potential flow. Don't let anybody kill your vibe. Time to bust up and show. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Act like you know you can win. Live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra. They said you'd never make it, but you're still here. Kept on pushing through all your doubts and fears. Never let a hater see you sweat. Remember who you are. When they go low, let them reap what they sow while you go far. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Baby, shine like a star. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. If you got haters, they gon' hate. Keep your head up and just be great. It's your season, your winning season with Cassandra. Rise up, time to get on your grind. Go after your dreams, no time to fall behind. Push till the end and never give in. It's your winning season, get ready to win. Keep moving forward and never look back. It's time to get motivated with Cassandra Mack. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra Mack.
Hello and welcome. Have you ever been in a situation where you vented to somebody who you thought could help or at least give you some perspective about a time where you were disrespected by a coworker, so-called friend, family member? They did something vile. And rather than hearing you out and giving you some perspective, they told you be the bigger person and cut you off and didn't want to hear anymore? When is being the bigger person actually code for wanting you to tolerate disrespect? You got to know the signs. That's what we're diving into today. Today's video was being brought to you by my book, Simple Prayers for Spiritual Warfare. This is a tactical, practical guide that offers you Bible-based prayers that you can say in 1 minute or less to stand strong in your power and authority as a believer when you're dealing with spiritual warfare. Also included is a spiritual warfare assessment, which takes you through a series of questions designed to help you gauge if what you are dealing with is spiritual warfare in nature. The link to the book is in the video description box if you want to find out more. So, a lot of times that phrase, be the bigger person, although it sounds mature, it sounds virtuous, and it is important at times to be the bigger person, but you have to differentiate when God is leading you to be mature and when a human being is trying to lead you into tolerating disrespect and being a doormat for somebody else's comfort level, ego, and inappropriate behavior. So we're going to unpack what it means when someone is using that term, be the bigger person, but it's actually code to tolerate disrespect. And let me start with a story of something that happened to one of my coaching clients who we will call Jane, not her real name. So Jane shared something that happened at her office. She was in a room with another colleague when one of those colleagues, we'll call her Sarah, made a comment to Jane saying, "I'm uncomfortable working with fat people. Nothing personal, no disrespect. It's just a thing for me." And my client, who is a plus size woman, was taken aback. This wasn't just an offhand, inappropriate comment made. It was nasty. It was inappropriate, and it has no place in the work environment, regardless of how this woman feels. And it is demeaning and deeply unprofessional, even if she hides behind the words, "I'm just being honest." We have policies and procedures in place in workplace environments so that those type of behaviors don't take place. And so my client Jane did exactly what she was supposed to do. She went to the supervisor. She explained what Sarah said to her. She explained the comment, how it made her feel disrespected and isolated in her own workplace. And you know what the supervisor's response was? "Jane, I need you to be the bigger person here. We all just need to get along and work as a team." Let that sink in. Be the bigger person. Not, "I'll have a conversation with Sarah," because what Sarah said was inappropriate. No conversation about professional conduct. No assurance that the work environment would be safe and respectful for all, but the entire burden of fixing a situation that she didn't create was placed squarely on the shoulders of the person who was actually wrong. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. A few days later, Jane comes to her desk and found a printed article sitting on her desk with a diet guide. It was a diet article. And she had a sinking feeling that it was from Sarah. But when she went back to her supervisor, the response was the same. Was basically shrugging it off, an implication that she was making a mountain out of a molehill, and another nudge to just let it go for the sake of the team, when in fact, this individual was creating a hostile work environment for Jane. Jane was hired for the job because she's competent at what she does. And Jane's story is a textbook example of what we're diving into today. When the phrase "be the bigger person" is not about peace, but it is a manipulative strategy to make you acquiesce to bad behavior. It was code for, "I don't want to deal with this. The supervisor didn't want to deal with it. So I need you to tolerate the disrespect." Your ability to work in a safe work environment is less important than my convenience, my not wanting to deal with this, and my not wanting to get involved. And so how do you know when you're being asked to practice genuine maturity versus when you're being manipulated into accepting unacceptable behavior under the guise of being the bigger person? How do you spot the signs that being the bigger person is actually a demand for your silent compliance? So we're going to be breaking that down, and we're going to be looking at 3 red flags that should alert you that being the bigger person is actually code for shut up and take it. Number 1, the burden of responsibility is placed solely on the person who was wronged. So even though you're disrespected, you're mistreated, you are wronged, it is on you to fix a situation that you didn't create. You're expected to just smile, grin, and bear it. See, in a healthy work environment, this happens in families, but I'm using the situation from my client. In a healthy work environment, the person who is doing the wrong thing, who is behaving in a way that goes against company policy and procedure, they're going to be the one where you're going to have a conversation with them to tone that behavior down. But instead, you are told to absorb the hurt, to swallow your justified indignation, while the person who caused the harm faces no consequences. So there is no incentive for Sarah to change her behavior. And remember, the behavior escalated. And while there was no proof that Sarah left the diet article on Jane Doe's desk, Jane Doe didn't print the article herself. And so Jane is being asked to be more understanding while her colleague faces zero accountability for her blatantly discriminatory comment. And so when you're being asked to single-handedly hold the peace, that's not peace. That's oppression. And watch my video. Listen to my video that talks about be leery of the peacemaker who wants you to sacrifice your peace for somebody else's ego, comfort, and disrespect. They're not a peacemaker. They're a comfort maker and a conflict avoidant person when conflicts need to be addressed, depending on the nature of the conflict. That was the supervisor's responsibility. She is managing that team. And her responsibility is, when you notice that the work environment is becoming a hostile work environment, you want to nip that in the bud so that team-centered work can actually flourish. Here's the second sign. Your pain is minimized or totally disrespected. So the wrong that you suffered, the pain that you suffered, the injury, whether it was physical or psychological, is totally dismissed and minimized. That is when you know that being the bigger person is code for shut up, take it, and tolerate it. Pay close attention to the language used. So are your responses met with phrases like, oh, I'm sure she didn't mean it that way. Well, how else does she mean it? She said she's not comfortable around fat people. How else does she mean it? Are you in her mind to know? You say you sure she didn't mean it that way. Are you telepathic? And we're not going to say that, but I'm just saying. Are you telepathic? Oh, you're being too sensitive. Oh, he or she was only joking. But those type of jokes don't belong in the workplace. This is a classic technique to invalidate your experience. And it subtly suggests, or not so subtly suggests, that the real problem isn't the harmful behavior, but your inability to swallow disrespect. So when your valid injury, disrespect, mistreatment is treated as an inconvenience, that's what it is. You're now an inconvenient problem because the boss doesn't want to address it. So being the bigger person is just code for stop talking about it. Don't bring this up. Don't bring this up to anybody. Sign number 3, and this is a very big sign. The goal is not resolution. The goal is not resolution or justice for the one who is wrong. The goal is to get you to acquiesce to disrespect and mistreatment. So when the goal is not justice and resolution so that there can be a productive working environment, and the goal is more about you tolerating disrespect, that is a sign that when they say the words, can't you just be the bigger person, that is code for can't you just be a doormat and tolerate disrespect. So the focus isn't on correcting the wrong and establishing healthy work practices and work behaviors in that company so you can ensure that the behavior doesn't happen again, that the behavior doesn't escalate, or that other co-workers don't take it as a sign that they can be equally disrespectful. The only goal is to get you to stop talking about it. And so this is not peace. This is not resolution. This is not creating a productive work environment. Whether it's the supervisor, whether this is a family member who clearly sees that another family member disrespects you and they just want you, well, you know how your sister is. You know when your sister, has too much to drink. You know how she gets. Yeah, but this is problematic. I'm not put on earth to absorb my sister's behavior when she's had too much to drink. That's not my purpose. The Bible doesn't tell me that I'm her psychological punching bag. The Bible tells me that I am God's workmanship. Ephesians 2:10. So, regardless of where this is happening, and again, I'm using the workplace because this is my client's example, but this happens in families. This happens in friend groups, where there's one friend in a group who's very disrespectful, but maybe they're popular. Maybe they have influence. Maybe they know people who could get you into places at a discount. So you are expected to constantly absorb their classless, horrific behavior in order to be part of that friend group. And so know that this is not peace. This is not peace. And I'll give you a fourth side. You feel a deep sense of betrayal. You feel a deep sense of betrayal. So, and this is really self-betrayal. So when you are being asked to be the bigger person in a situation where you are being blatantly disrespected, where you are being wrong in a way where you are justifiably able to be upset, and you may even have some legal grounds, and you are told to just kind of swallow it, they're asking you to betray yourself. It is manipulative. And they want you to abandon your own self-care. They want you to silence your voice. They want you to betray your own boundaries. They want you to basically teach other people that it's okay to treat you poorly and you're just going to suck it up and swallow it. There's no integrity in that. And so this is important to keep in mind. So if you've been in a situation like my client Jane, and you're feeling that weight, I want you to know that what you are experiencing is not the integrity of being the bigger person. It is the manipulation of somebody wanting you to acquiesce to disrespect. So I want to give you a scripture that you may find comfort. Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Notice it says peacemakers, not peace destroyers. And so when you make something, like you're making art, you're actively contributing and building something, right? And so when you have a supervisor who is trying to make you think that they are being a peacemaker, when they're telling you to acquiesce to disrespect, they're not building. They're actually tearing down. They're not building a productive, flourishing, thriving work environment where everyone feels this is a place of dignity and respect for all. So they're not being peacemakers. So this is key to understand. The other scripture I want to leave you with is a very important scripture. And I use this scripture often. And it's, you will know them by their fruits. Right? You will know them by their fruits. This is Matthew 7:16. It says, "You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles?" So fruit is what a person produces by way of their actions, habits, patterns, choices. And so in this instance, you know that the supervisor, by way of her fruit of conflict avoidance, her fruit of wanting the victim in this situation to tolerate disrespect and what's becoming a hostile work environment for her, she is showing the fruit of avoidance. She is showing the fruit of favoritism. She is showing the fruit of cowardice and no backbone. And so you know what you are dealing with. And so I hope that this is helpful, so that when people tell you to be the bigger person, and what they're really saying is tolerate disrespect, do know that you don't have to tolerate disrespect. And so you can begin to, whether you're going to speak with wise counsel, whatever the actions are that you're going to take, whether you're speaking with wise counsel, you're praying about it so that you can figure out what your next steps are. But don't let someone gaslight you into believing that tolerating chronic and escalating, it's not just chronic disrespect, but it's escalating disrespect in this situation, that tolerating chronic and escalating disrespect is a form of being the bigger person. Your peace is important. And so do what you need to do, and don't be guilt tripped or gaslit into believing that you standing up for yourself, that you doing what you need to do to maintain proper boundaries, that you doing what you need to do to stand up for your rights is you not being the bigger person. That's what I'm getting at. So do what you need to do, and don't let someone with an agenda to make you acquiesce to disrespect for their convenience and comfort level make you believe that you are being a horrible person because you are standing up for yourself. So I hope that gave you comfort. If you're in a situation where you're like, you know what, I'm going to stand up for myself, whatever that's going to look like for you, whether you're getting counsel to know what the next steps should be, whether you're escalating to HR, whatever your next steps are going to be if you're in a similar situation, so that at least you have the mental clarity to know, the mental clarity and the spiritual clarity to know that you are being gaslit, if you are being told to be the bigger person in a situation where someone not just disrespects you, but the disrespect is now escalating to other forms of disrespect, and it is creating a hostile work environment if you're in a work environment, or a hostile family function if it is happening at a family gathering, wherever it is happening at. So with that being said, I want to let you know about the resources that we have outside of the general public videos for the general public. So we have a church by phone service that happens every Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can join us in your pajamas with your coffee, tea, lemon water, cold pressed juice in hand. You'll feel right at home. And you just dial in. It's real simple. Every Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the phone number and the time frames in the different time zones, go to the website, the ministry website, CassandraMacMinistries.com. Click on the link that says Church by Phone, and you can get the information from there. We also have a wellness club. A lot of you ask about the wellness call. How can you get on our call that happens the first and third Wednesday every month? So for that, you have to be a member of the wellness club, which is one of the tiers of channel membership that offers a self-care, emotional well-being call where we focus on just that, where we focus on mental health, mental self-care, emotional mastery, spiritual self-care through a biblical lens. It's therapeutic. It's a group coaching call. You have an opportunity to speak with me live because it's a conference call on the phone. And not only that, you also have an opportunity to ask questions, which doesn't happen in the general public video. But on the live call, you can ask questions pertinent to that topic, relative to that topic. And you can share what's on your heart relative to the topic on that day. So not only are you hearing from me, but you're hearing from other members of the Wellness Club. So we have created a safe space for that. So you'll see a link that'll take you to my channel membership. But the only way to get access to the call is to make sure that you are joining at the Wellness Club tier. We also have some other amazing tiers. We have the channel supporters tier, so shout out to the channel supporters. We have the Faith Builders Hub, where there are private teaching videos to help you build your faith. That's another tier, depending on what you're interested in. So it'll show you the different tiers, and you can select what's for you. And if you are not ready or able to become a member at this time, continue to enjoy the free public videos made available here. That's available. You can always join us for Church by Phone, which is free and open to the public, the live service every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I have two Zoom workshops coming up. One on October 18th. It is Decoding Your Dreams, where we're going to be talking about how do you begin to really understand your dreams. If you remember Joseph in the Bible, not only did Joseph have a dream, but Joseph was able to interpret dreams. and know what the dreams meant. And God throughout the Bible has spoken to his people in visions and dreams. So we see that in Genesis, he speaks to Abraham in a vision. He tells him he'll have as many descendants as stars in the sky. He tells him that in the book of Genesis. You can look that up. And he also gives Joseph a dream. And that dream comes to pass years later. And he gives Joseph the ability to interpret other people's dreams. You can read about that in Genesis as well. So God is still speaking to his people in dreams and visions. And so maybe you're sensitive in the spirit. Maybe you are a seer. You see things prophetically, but you've never really had a safe space where you can gather with other like-minded people to unpack this gift that you've been given. What does God want you to do with this vision or this dream? Because if he gave it to you, he wants you to steward it. What does stewarding a dream look like? We're going to be talking about that in this workshop. The workshop, all of my workshops come with a digital workbook that comes to you as a PDF file that you download and you can print out at your leisure. And the thing about my workbooks that come with each workshop, you can use them during the workshop and long after the workshop to continue refreshing your skills and your knowledge. So that happens October 18th. In November, I'm doing a vision board workshop. The link is in the video description box with the date. And we're going to be focusing on creating a 5-fold vision board based on the Genesis 1:28 mandate. You can read Genesis 1:28 and you'll see what I'm talking about. And so some people ask if vision boards are biblical. My answer is it depends who's teaching it and what are they teaching it from. So if someone who practices New Age, Wicca, or something like that is teaching from those perspectives, then the obvious answer is no, of course it's not biblical. But my vision board, which is based on the Bible verse Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain on tablets so that he who reads it may run with it, is based on that scripture. When God gives you a vision, writing that vision, but we don't write on stone tablets in this day and age, right? So it's about writing that vision and really making it clear and concise. So that's what we do in this vision board. And the focus again is the Genesis 1:28 mandate. How do you really begin to walk in your kingdom calling with power and authority? So every year we do different variations of a vision board workshop. Last year we did 5-fold as it related to the 5-fold ministry. This year is Genesis 1:28 as it relates to moving forward in your purpose and your destiny. And so we'll be doing it from a 3-ring binder so that you have the 5 sections for the 5-fold vision board. So there's a link in the video description box to my workshops. It'll take you to the Eventbrite pages for each workshop so that you can read the details of what will be offered in each of the workshops. There's Zoom. So no matter where you are in the world, you can attend, but you are required to be on camera. You're not admitted if you're not on camera. So if you are camera shy, none of my workshops will be the right fit for you because that is a requirement. You're not admitted without being on camera. So that's what we got coming up for you. Last but not least, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who support this ministry through your channel membership and those of you who support this ministry through your financial donations. We could not do what we do without you. Through your donations, you keep this ministry going and growing. And so I want to say a big thank you from the bottom of my heart to you. I truly appreciate you. If you've been blessed by this channel, this ministry, and God has put it on your heart to sow back into the place that's a blessing to you, you'll see that you can go to our ministry website, CassandraMacMinistries.com. You'll see a button that says donate, and you can follow the prompts from there. Every bit helps, whatever's on your heart to give, if you so choose to. So with that being said, have an amazing day. Let's do our best to be kind. There's a lot of unkind, unhinged people in this world. Let's not add to the craziness and the wickedness in the world. Let's be a force for good. Let's be salt and light. So with that being said, God bless you.